When my husband and the mother of his daughter were holding their wedding, I was in the hospital preparing for an abortion. He gazed at Jui with deep affection. You made me understand what love is, although I cannot give you a formal title. In my heart, you are my only wife. The daughter they had raised for 5 years nestled beside her, sweetly calling her Mom. Jui proudly sent this video to my email. I finally gave up hope and turned to walk into the operating room. I sent them a divorce agreement as their wedding gift. I want neither my lover nor my daughter anymore. Chapter 1. In the operating room, I felt this little life slipping away from me. Suddenly, I remembered the time when I was first diagnosed with poor health and told that having children would be difficult. My in-laws all wanted him to divorce me, but Ning Yuan held my hand tightly and said, "Tsuanshi, you are the best person to me in this world. In this lifetime, I only recognize you as my wife." At that moment, I felt that all the years of effort were worth it. Marrying him made my life complete, so when he proposed adopting his first love's daughter, I agreed. For years, he has nurtured and taught me as if I were his own. But now, he says to Jui, "You are my only wife." Even the daughter he raised for so many years abandoned me without hesitation and returned to her birth mother. A tear slid from the corner of my eye. The child died along with my love for them as a father and daughter. The surgery lasted 2 hours. As the anesthesia wore off, the pain in my stomach made my lips turn pale. The doctor said it was the uterus contracting to recover, and I endured it for half an hour before it eased. Picking up my phone, I found over a dozen missed calls, all from Ning Yuan. I called back, and Ning Yuan's furious voice came through. "Xia Tsuanshi, are you dead?" Not answering calls or replying to messages. "Do you know that Yang Yang had a severe allergic reaction to peanuts and is in the hospital, still in critical condition? Just because and I are having a wedding, you're going to neglect our daughter like this? How could you become so cold-hearted? Brother Yuan, please don't say that. It's all my fault for making sister angry." Jui's voice was soft and tearful as she apologized. "Sister, today's wedding was just Brother Yuan taking pity on me. Wanting to fulfill a dream we had when we were young. It really means nothing. I apologize to you. Please don't blame Brother Yuan and Yang Yang." Ning Yuan comforted her with a pained heart. Don't cry. This isn't your fault. She's just narrow-minded and took it out on our daughter. After all, she's not her biological mother. If she were, how could she bear to neglect her like this?" I couldn't bear to listen any longer and hung up the phone with a sharp click. I kept hanging up every time Ning Yuan called again. The pain in my abdomen, which had just subsided, seemed to be returning. Although I was used to Ning Yuan's harshness towards me, hearing such words still made my heart ache. Chapter 2. Back then, when Ning Yuan was paralyzed in a car accident, Jui left him without a second thought. It was I who interrupted my studies to accompany him through the toughest times, to help him stand up again. He once promised that he would never let me down in this lifetime. But later, when Jui was 8 months pregnant and her husband went missing, Ning Yuan almost moved into her home, taking care of her tirelessly day and night. After she left the country, abandoning her child in swaddling clothes, Ning Yuan proposed that we adopt the child together. At that time, I knew I might not have children of my own, so I cherished her as my own daughter. I was afraid she would melt in my mouth and break in my hands. Every aspect of her life, clothing, food, housing, and transportation, was meticulously taken care of. She is allergic to peanuts, so peanut products have never been seen in our home since. Every time we go out, I am extra cautious. Before Jui returned, she was also my little warm jacket. But as soon as Jui came back, she effortlessly shattered the family I had painstakingly built. Taking away the love and affection I cherished the most, my daughter grew increasingly distant from me, yet closer to Jui, and Ning Yuan was the same. I began to feel panicked and started restricting their contact with Jui, often crying and making a scene, which only made them resent me even more. 7 days ago, on my daughter's birthday, I made a big cake by hand to celebrate for her, but after she received a call from Jui, she immediately took Ning Yuan's hand and headed out. "Daddy, quickly take me to see Auntie Yi. Mommy said she prepared a surprise for Yang Yang." I'm so excited. I tried hard to suppress the bitterness in my heart, telling myself not to lose my temper, and brought the cake to her, coaxing, Yang Yang, how about eating the birthday cake first before going? It's your favorite Black Forest cake. But unexpectedly, Ning Xian swiped the cake onto the floor and said angrily, I don't believe you, you're just trying to trick me into staying. You're not my real mother anyway. I don't want to eat your cake. Ning Xian's innocent yet cruel words pierced my heart like a sharp sword. I trembled all over, unable to speak. Ning Yuan witnessed the entire scene but only said lightly, the child doesn't know any better, don't take it too seriously. Besides, Yang Yang isn't wrong. After all, you're not her biological mother, yet you've kept her by your side all these years, now that Yi is back. It's only right for them to reunite as mother and daughter. You should be more generous. That day, I sat for a long time in front of the shattered cake on the floor. In the end, I calmly cleaned up the mess, got into bed, and curled myself up. Just as I was about to fall asleep, a cold body pressed against me. Ning Yuan had returned, reeking of alcohol. He kissed me haphazardly from head to toe. Darling, I missed you. Worried about the baby in my womb, I pushed him away. Don't. I'm pregnant right now. The words I was about to speak got stuck in my throat when I saw the bite mark on his Adam's apple. Ning Yuan seemed oblivious, murmuring, my wife. My stomach suddenly churned violently. I pushed him away with all my strength and rushed into the bathroom, leaning over the toilet and vomiting until I felt dizzy and disoriented. How disgusting. After this incident, the next day he said he wanted to hold a wedding with Jui to fulfill the promise he made in his youth to marry her once. I was already able to keep a straight face and just responded with a faint But Ning Yuan was dissatisfied with my reaction, frowning and asking, what do you mean? Are you trying to retreat in order to advance and cause trouble behind the scenes? I'm warning you, this wedding is to commemorate our youth and fulfill a promise. If you dare to ruin it, I will absolutely not tolerate you any longer. Don't worry, I won't cause any trouble. I looked at him calmly, having made a decision in my heart. I've prepared a gift, a very important one. If you're willing to call off the wedding, I'll give it to you. If not, that's fine too. I'll prepare another gift for you. Ning Yuan wore an expression that said he had expected this and replied disdainfully, I knew you wouldn't just let things be. What kind of gift has to be given on the wedding day? You've pulled this trick so many times. Aren't you tired of it? Give it up. There's no way I'm backing out. I put away the dishes and placed them in the dishwasher, saying softly, a yuan, I'll wait for you one last time. Chapter 3. I scrolled through the WeChat messages Ning Yuan had sent me and realized that Ning Xian's hospital room was right below mine. It was a good opportunity to go see her and, at the same time, deliver the divorce agreement to Ning Yuan. Ning Xian hadn't woken up yet, still wearing an oxygen mask. Her small face deathly pale. After all, I've cared for her for so many years, and it still pains me to see her suffer. Ning Yuan scowled. How dare you show your face here? Why wouldn't I dare? It wasn't me who fed the peanut butter to Ning Xian. Jui stiffened at the words, her eyes reddening. It's all my fault. My carelessness hurt Yang Yang. Ning Yuan said softly in comfort. How can this be your fault? You didn't know there was peanut butter in that dessert. Then, turning to me with a cold glare, Shiatsuanshi, you shut up. I lowered my eyes and said nothing more. I just silently handed over the divorce agreement in my hand. Ning Yuan did not take it, frowning with displeasure. What are you up to again? I'm not up to anything this time. Ning Yuan, let's get a divorce, I said, looking at him seriously. We had a prenuptial agreement, so we can just split the marital assets in half. The custody of Ning Xian will go to you. You can take a look. And if there's anything you're not satisfied with, we can make changes. Ning Yuan's expression darkened as he looked me up and down, as if trying to determine whether this was some new trick of mine. Jui could barely suppress the smile on her face. After a long pause, Ning Yuan let out a scornful laugh, forcefully snatched the divorce agreement, and signed his name. Fine, we'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow morning. Don't come crying and begging me not to divorce you then. I won't give you another chance. Don't worry, I won't regret it. I turned and left without hesitation, not looking back. Chapter 4. The next day, When we went through the divorce procedures, Ning Yuan was visibly irritable the entire time. After leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, he lit a cigarette. Suanshi, there's still a 30-day cooling-off period. You still have a chance to change your mind. I don't know why, but I felt he was a bit nervous and expectant when he said that. Probably just my imagination. I shook my head. Don't worry, I always keep my word. I'll pack up and move out in the next couple of days. I won't bother you anymore. Ning Yuan angrily stubbed out his cigarette. Suit yourself, watching the black KN roar away into the distance. I took out my phone and called the professor. Professor, you mentioned before that you wanted me to come back and be your teaching assistant. Is it still possible for me to go now? I graduated with a master's degree in forensic science and joined the Public Security Agency right after graduation. But soon, Ning Yuan said he couldn't stand the smell of death on me. Suanshi, you are my wife, so you'll have to accompany me to socialize with clients. When people ask what you do, I can't very well say you spend all day dealing with the dead. Can I? Be reasonable. Your job is unlucky. Yang Yang is still young. What if you bring bad luck to her? So, less than 3 months into the job, I resigned and became a full-time housewife. Later, after our daughter was born, I thought about restarting my career, but Ning Yuan always disagreed. He said my career was the family, taking good care of our daughter so he has no worries. And lighting a lamp for him when he comes home late, that's all he really wants. So I compromised, a while ago. My master's degree advisor called me and said he wanted me to go back to be a teaching assistant while continuing my studies for a Ph.D. Xiaoxia, you're one of the most outstanding students I've ever taught. Are you really going to waste your life in that tiny kitchen? This wasn't the first time the teacher had advised me, but at that time, my family was already full of cracks because of Jui's appearance. I was busy mending and patching things up, politely declining the professor's kind offer. But now, I regret it. From the other end of the phone came the professor's excited voice. It's not too late. As long as you're willing, it's never too late. Ha ha ha, Xia, you've finally come around. I'm so happy for you. My eyes are a bit moist. I've been an orphan since childhood, and the professor is one of the few people in this world who genuinely cares for me, yet I have constantly failed to live up to his expectations. I nodded vigorously. Don't worry, Professor, this time, I will definitely not let you down. Chapter 5, Returning to the campus after so many years, seeing these young and energetic juniors, I feel a mix of emotions in my heart. The days of having hot pot in the dormitory with my roommates are still vivid in my mind. Before I knew it, so much time had passed. I had long lost contact with my roommate, and I was no longer a student. Just as I was lost in thought, a soccer ball came flying toward me. Hitting me square in the face, my vision went black, and I fell flat on my backside, my head buzzing. A group of boys in soccer uniforms gathered around, all talking at once. Are you okay, Senior? Senior, do you need to go to the hospital? Senior, you're bleeding. Everyone, step aside. A blonde boy in an orange basketball uniform pushed through the crowd and squeezed in. His face was covered in sweat, yet he appeared exceptionally cheerful. Looking like an orange-flavored soda against the backdrop of the blue sky, he supported my waist with one hand and scooped up the bend of my knee with the other, lifting me up. The doctor said I didn't injure my head, but the impact caused a lot of nosebleed, which looked quite frightening. The blonde boy let out a long sigh of relief. Sis, I'm so glad you're okay. You were covered in blood just now and it really scared me. I thought I was going to get in trouble. I snapped at him in annoyance. That ball just now was kicked by you, wasn't it? Are you the reincarnation of Neza, kicking it so hard? He lowered his head guiltily. Sorry, sis, I was wrong. I'll take responsibility. Sis, let me add you on WeChat. If anything comes up, you can reach out to me anytime. He paused for a moment and added softly, you can also reach out to me even if nothing's wrong. I was taken aback for a moment. The young man's face was slightly flushed, but his eyes were filled with clarity and purity. I silently scolded myself for having impure thoughts. His WeChat profile picture was a chubby orange cat, which actually bore a striking resemblance to him. I couldn't help but smile. He stammered as he spoke. Sister. What are you laughing at? I was thinking this orange cat looks so much like you. It's really cute. Youth is wonderful. Just a little teasing, and even the tips of his ears turned red, which in turn lifted some of the gloom in my heart. Although we exchanged WeChat, I never really thought about reaching out to him again. After all, they were just minor injuries. There's no need to keep targeting a student. But I didn't expect the reunion to come so quickly. As the teacher cheerfully introduced his students from this year's class to me, a blond boy peeked his head out from behind the door, tiptoeing as he tried to blend into the crowd from the back, but his head of golden hair was so conspicuous that it was impossible not to notice. The teacher's smile vanished, his brows furrowed, and he shouted with full force, "Lu Mingyao, you're late again." Chapter 6. A dozen students scattered to both sides in a flurry, and the golden-haired boy hiding in the back was suddenly exposed to the teacher's view. He was wearing a new orange-red tracksuit and had a lollipop in his mouth. "It looks even more like that orange cat now." Lu Mingyao rubbed his nose, shot a resentful glare at the snickering classmate beside him, and then ingratiatingly moved closer to the teacher. "Teacher, the moon is really round tonight. Haha, don't try to change the subject, you're always late and leave early. And your paper is a complete mess. Calling it academic garbage would be an insult to the word academic. It's just plain garbage. If you delay your graduation again this year, don't bother coming to see me anymore. Go back home and farm the fields." Lu Mingyao hung his head low, looking as dejected as a defeated cat. The teacher, his throat hoarse from scolding, picked up his thermos and took a sip of water to moisten it. He then pointed at Lu Mingyao and said to me, "Xia, take a good look. He's our key focus, and you need to guide him well." "Don't worry, teacher, I will." Lu Mingyao finally noticed me, his eyes wide open. "Sister, how is it you, huh? Do you know each other?" The teacher looked at Lu Mingyao with confusion. He was so startled that he waved his hands repeatedly, his face turning bright red. No, it's just that I've seen her once from afar before." The teacher clearly didn't believe him and turned to me for confirmation. Lu Mingyao clasped his hands together, his eyes full of pleading as he stared straight at me. If he had a tail, it would probably be wagging by now. I found it amusing and didn't expose him, probably. I don't really have an impression of this junior. Chapter 7. After returning to school, I rented a small studio nearby and moved all my belongings from my old home there. Actually, it's just a few boxes. It wasn't until I had to move that I realized how few of my own things were in that home. It's just that the busyness of work left me with no time to dwell on melancholy thoughts. This trip to the city hospital for an anatomy lecture is a project for second-year graduate students. But the teacher thought Lu Mingyao's professional skills were really poor, so he was also sent over, and I was asked to pay special attention to him. Through these past few days of getting to know him, I found that Lu Mingyao is very smart and hardworking, but he is quite resistant to practical operations due to psychological barriers. So I discussed with him and decided to come to the hospital in advance to see a psychiatrist, to see if it could help. It's just that this trip came at an unfortunate time. I was sitting in the corridor waiting for Lu Mingyao when I happened to see Ning Yuan coming out of the adjacent clinic. Our eyes met, and it was a bit awkward. I was a bit puzzled, after being married for so many years. I had no idea Ning Yuan had mental health issues. It was as if he could see right through what I was thinking. Ning Yuan said with a displeased expression, "Don't overthink it, I'm here with Yi for her follow-up appointment." "That's right, I forgot, Yi has depression. Because she has depression, she can call my husband in the middle of the night to go to her house and sleep with her. Because she has depression, she can pick up my daughter from kindergarten without telling me, making me so anxious that I called the police. Because she has depression, she can demand that a married man have a wedding with her. What an insult to those who truly suffer from depression." The anger in my heart burns stronger and stronger. This is very inappropriate. These people have nothing to do with me anymore and are not worth even the slightest emotion from me. I tried my best to calm myself down and refocused my attention on Candy Crush. Ning Yuan sat down beside me. "There are still your pajamas in the bedroom closet. When are you coming to pack them up? Throw them away," I replied indifferently. Ning Yuan's face tightened, and he fell silent for a moment before continuing. "Yang Yang cried for a long time yesterday. asking me if mommy doesn't want her anymore. I didn't know how to answer her. Maybe you should go see her. No need, her mother is Jui, not me. Ning Yuan lowered his eyes, his expression unreadable, and said, Tsuanshi, I admit that I neglected your feelings regarding the wedding, and I can apologize for that. Please stop being so temperamental. What has become of our once harmonious home, huh? It turns out that people really do laugh when they're utterly speechless. Ning Yuan, let me reiterate, we are about to get a divorce. Please don't come to me with these nonsensical remarks anymore. Ning Yuan frowned and was about to say something more. At that moment, the door to the office opened from the inside, and Lu Mingyao walked out with a lollipop in his mouth, placing a hand on my shoulder. Sis, I'm done. Who is he? Ning Yuan's face darkened like the bottom of a pot, and a low-pressure aura radiated from him. Lu Mingyao looked him up and down a couple of times before suddenly realizing, I get it, you must be Sis's ex-husband, right? You look so much older than in the photos, I didn't recognize you. Chapter 8, Phut, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Although Ning Yuan is 3 years older than me, his face could easily be described as fair and handsome. There's no way it could be considered old. Lu Mingyao, that kid, really knows how to get under someone's skin. Seeing the veins on Ning Yuan's forehead about to pop, I quickly held back my laughter and pulled Lu Mingyao behind me. The child doesn't know any better, don't take it to heart. Ning Yuan suddenly dropped his angry expression and looked at me with a half-smile. No wonder you were so determined to divorce. It turns out you already found a backup. All these days, I've been reflecting on whether I'd been neglecting you too much. But now it seems there was no need. You'd abandon your husband and child for some wet-behind-the-ears brat. What, does he satisfy you better than I do? Xie Tsuanshi, take a good look at your own face. No amount of foundation can hide the wrinkles at the corners of your eyes, and you can't even bear children. Do you really think he'd genuinely like you? Don't kid yourself. Or you'll end up being used and still counting his money for him. The hospital corridor was eerily quiet. My head was buzzing, and I couldn't hear a thing. I couldn't believe that the person spewing such vicious words in front of me was the one I had cherished for 10 years. 10 years ago, I first came to the capital city for university and went to visit Madame Lu, who had funded my education. It was the first time I had seen such a large and luxurious house, with so many servants. Just like in a TV drama, I was filled with anxiety and insecurity, timidly lowering my head as I tried to hide the local specialty I had brought from my small hometown behind my back. Suddenly, a pair of white sneakers appeared in my line of sight, and a clear, gentle voice spoke from above. Are you the girl my aunt has been sponsoring? Don't be nervous, he said, taking my hand and placing a piece of chocolate in it. Here, try it, it's really delicious. I was at a loss, holding the chocolate in my hand, but he seemed to have discovered a new world. He snatched the local specialty I was carrying and tore it open. What's this? My face flushed bright red, afraid he might dislike it. And nothing much. Wow, it's beef jerky. The beef jerky from your place is super delicious. And you can't even buy it online. And purple chili sauce. I love this the most, and my mom really likes it too. Xie, thank you for the gift. I looked up and met a pair of eyes brimming with clear, bright laughter. The world fell silent around me, with only a gentle breeze stirring my heart. In that moment, the idea of a glance that lasts a lifetime became vividly real before my eyes. The phoenix keeps its promise, the flowers never fail to bloom. And year after year, they never let each other down. Chapter 9, Lu Mingyao threw a hard punch at Ning Yuan. Watch your mouth, you foul-mouthed jerk, no wonder my sister dumped you. Ning Yuan also fought back fiercely, grappling with him. Before long, both of them had bruises on their faces. By the time I snapped back to reality, the security guards had already arrived and separated them, yet both of them were still glaring at each other with intense hostility. As if eager to start another fight, I walked over to Lu Mingyao and supported him. Let me accompany you downstairs to take care of your wound. Lu Mingyao pouted, glared at Ning Yuan, and reluctantly said, fine. I'll let you off for today. I helped Lu Mingyao turn to leave, and as we passed by Ning Yuan, he grabbed my arm. Tsuanshi, I'm injured too. Oh, I forcefully broke free from his grip. Don't forget to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow to get the divorce certificate. I continued walking forward without looking back at him. Behind me came the sound of a door opening, followed by Jui's exclamation, "Brother Yuan, what's wrong with you, before today?" Even though I had resolved to leave, I still had feelings for Ning Yuan. After all, I had loved him for 10 years, how could I let go of that overnight? But just now, the last trace of affection I had for him vanished into thin air. Lu Mingyao suddenly hissed in pain, his eyes welling up with tears as he looked at me. "Sister, it hurts so much." I quickly shifted my attention to him. The corner of his mouth was split, one eye swollen like a panda's, and his forehead was cut. Still bleeding profusely. It looks quite frightening. Fortunately, we were at the hospital, so I quickly took him downstairs to register. The doctor said it was all external injuries and prescribed some ointment, which should heal in a few days. I gently applied the medicated oil to his wounds, and Lu Mingyao grimaced in pain, saying, "It hurts, sister. Be gentler. Weren't you fierce when you were fighting with Ning Yuan just now? Now you know it hurts." I still tried to be as gentle as possible. "Don't be so impulsive in the future." "Oh," Lu Mingyao said dejectedly. Even the tuft of hair on his head seemed to droop. I smiled, putting away the medicated oil. "All right, I'm not blaming you. It's just that if you get hurt, you're the one who suffers. It's not worth it for a few words from Ning Yuan." "I wasn't doing it for him, sister. I was doing it for you." He looked up at me seriously, a glimmer of starlight seeming to flicker in his eyes. I turned my face away somewhat uncomfortably. "I know, no matter what, I want to thank." A soft, gentle touch pressed against the side of my face. My eyes widened, and the scene before me was like a slow-motion shot from an old movie, so clear yet so unbelievable. I sprang to my feet. The medicine has been applied. I should go now." I walked away quickly, nearly bumping into the glass door as I left the hospital. After more than 20 years of living, it was the first time I had ever felt the taste of fleeing in panic. Chapter 10. The next day, as I stood at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I was still thinking about that sudden kiss from yesterday. I can't figure out why Lu Mingyao would have such thoughts about me. When I received the divorce certificate, my mind was still in a daze. It wasn't until Ning Yuan turned to leave that I suddenly snapped out of it and called out to him from behind, "Ning Yuan, wait a moment." I jogged over, took a notebook out of my bag, and handed it to him. "This notebook contains Yanyan's daily habits and food preferences. Please pass it on to Jui." Ning Yuan stared at me blankly, taking a moment before accepting the notebook from my hand. "Tsuanshi, how about we don't get divorced? Yang has missed you a lot these days." In her heart, "You will always be her mother. Can't we just stay together as a family? And that guy you're seeing isn't reliable. He isn't sincere about you at all." He paused. "Anyway, since we haven't left yet, if you agree, we can go back in right now and get a different certificate." I was stunned, looking at him speechlessly. Sometimes I really don't understand how Ning Yuan's brain works. Just as I was about to speak, a hand reached out from beside me and pulled me behind. "Matters between my sister and I are none of your concern, ex-husband." Ning Yuan's eyes grew increasingly stormy with anger, and I quickly tried to defuse the situation. "The police station is right across the street. Don't do anything reckless." Ning Yuan's chest heaved a few times as he gritted his teeth and said, "He was the one who threw the first punch yesterday. He's still a student. Aren't you ashamed of picking on a student over such trivial matters? He's not ashamed of meddling in someone else's marriage, so why should I be ashamed?" I wanted to retort righteously that Lu Mingyao and I were innocent, but the memory of yesterday's kiss left me speechless. Lu Mingyao looked at him with a mischievous grin. "Stop trying to shift the blame. Do you think everyone is as despicable as your first love, that so-called white moonlight? Sister has never wronged you, so stop being so narrow-minded. However, sister is so wonderful. I was smitten the moment I saw her. I really have to thank you for being so blind. Starting today, I'm going to officially pursue her. Sis, is it okay?" Lu Mingyao blinked his big, dewy eyes as he looked at me. It's just that one of his eyes was still swollen like a panda's, making this expression truly hard to look at. I pushed his face away. "If I said no, would you give up?" "Of course not. I'd pester you until you agree." "Sis, What are you asking me for then? To show my firm attitude and sincere heart, my face slightly flushed, I cleared my throat lightly. Do as you please, you're the best, sis. He leaned his head close to mine and gave me another smacking kiss. Across from us, Ning Yuan's face darkened completely. He pressed his lips together and stormed off in a huff. Chapter 11. Are you happy now? I always felt a bit helpless with Lu Mingyao, and I couldn't even get angry at him. For one thing, he was also the teacher's student. Secondly, last week his mother came to school to see him, and I only then realized that his mother is actually Mrs. Lu, my sponsor from back in the day. She is also Ning Yuan's aunt. Such a relationship is also close. But 10 years ago, he was studying abroad. Not long after I came to Beijing, Mr. Lu passed away, and the Lu family left Beijing altogether, cutting off all contact since then. Actually, I knew a bit about what happened back then. Mr. Lu was a live-in son-in-law. He and Mrs. Lu were truly in love, and after marriage, he didn't join the company but continued his original profession, forensic pathology. 10 years ago, he conducted a death investigation and concluded that the deceased had committed suicide. However, the family insisted that their child had been murdered. Believing the forensic examiner had taken bribes to falsify the report, they came to confront him, and during the argument, the deceased's sister pushed the old man from the roadside right into the path of an oncoming truck. After the incident, Mrs. Lu was overwhelmed with grief and took the perpetrator to court. However, the deceased's family also had considerable influence and maintained many connections with the Ning family. My former mother-in-law failed to persuade Mrs. Lu to provide a letter of forgiveness. Instead, she helped them obtain a psychiatric diagnosis report from the hospital. Mrs. Lu was so enraged that she collapsed and never returned to Beijing again. This is also Lu Mingyao's inner demon. Influenced by his father, he chose to major in forensic science, yet he was affected by the tragic outcomes and his mother's concerns. Unable to take the final step for a long time, Lu Mingyao rubbed his head against my neck like a spoiled child. Sis, I really like you. When you came to my house back then, I thought, could this be a fairy sister? But your eyes were only on Ning Yuan, not me at all. He felt a bit wronged. My face grew warm. You were still so young back then, and I was so much older than you. Not at all. Sis, you're only 3 years older than me. A woman 3 years older is like holding a gold brick. I like it when she's 3 years older. Lu Mingyao's baby face is so deceptive. I always forget that he's actually not much younger than I am. Sis, just say yes to me. I'm way better than that old man. If you don't believe me, you can test me out. As he spoke, his breath brushed against the back of my ear, making it tingle. Startled, I pushed him away. We're on the street. Can you at least be a little more discreet? So, what you're saying is, it's okay to do it at home. Stop being cheeky. Have you finished your thesis? Chapter 12. Lu Mingyao really started pursuing me seriously, to the point where even the teacher found out and would teasingly joke with me. How does this second spring compare to the last one? I blushed bright red. Teacher, your lack of respect for your age will set a bad example for the students. There's no denying that Lu Mingyao is practically my ideal type. Who wouldn't like a man who's full of youthful spirit yet steady and reliable in his actions? If it were someone else, I wouldn't mind jumping into a new relationship right away. But Lu Mingyao, his feelings are too sincere and pure. I'm really afraid I might let him down. I don't want to become someone like Ning Yuan who betrays genuine feelings. To avoid Lu Mingyao, I took a few second-year graduate students to a neighboring city for an academic exchange on behalf of my teacher. Before leaving, I hesitated for a long time before contacting Mrs. Lu to discuss Lu Mingyao's situation. I don't want him to let his past hold back his future. I think only a mother's support can help him overcome that emotional hurdle. Mrs. Lu felt a pang of sadness. It's my failure as a mother. All these years, I never knew the pain he was carrying inside. Auntie, please don't say that. You've done your best. Mrs. Lu wiped her tears. Xiaoxi, thank you. In the future, I'll still need to trouble you to take care of Yao Yao. He likes you the most. 10 years ago, when you first came to our house, he already liked you. He still keeps a photo of you from that time in his room. That day when he met you on the court, He was so happy he danced on his bed late into the night, making so much noise I almost wanted to hit him. Mrs. Lu held my hand. Xiaoxi, I genuinely hope you can become part of our family. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. I thought Lu Mingyao, like me, had only developed a slight crush after these 2 months of getting along so well. I had originally planned to take advantage of work to clear my mind, but after hearing Mrs. Lu's words, I felt even more unsettled. Forcing myself to work, I'm both physically and mentally exhausted, returning to the dormitory after a day's work, before I could even lie down. I heard the doorbell ring. Opening the door, I saw Ning Yuan standing outside. He was holding his daughter's hand with his left hand and carrying a cake in his right. 11:11, happy birthday. I paused for a moment before remembering. Yes, my birthday had come around again. Ning Xian dashed over and hugged my leg. Mommy, Yang Yang is here to celebrate your birthday. I missed you so much. Chapter 13. I pulled her off with an expressionless face. I'm not your mommy anymore. Ning Xian's lips trembled and she began to cry. Mom, don't you want me anymore? Ning Yuan spoke with disapproval. 11:11. Don't be like this in front of the child. Ning Yuan, I calmly looked back at him. Are you even going to use your own daughter? His expression stiffened, and he scolded Ning Xian. Stop crying. Ning Xian cried even louder, throwing herself into my arms again, her snot and tears smearing all over my clothes. Wah, Mommy, Daddy is so mean. She was crying so hard she could barely catch her breath. I still felt a bit soft-hearted. But I knew I couldn't give in at this moment. I firmly pulled her off and handed her to Ning Yuan, looking her straight in the eyes. Ning Xian. She had probably never seen me look so serious before, and for a moment, she was so frightened that she even forgot to cry. I don't know what your father told you, but now I'm telling you seriously, I've divorced your father, and from now on, I'm no longer your mother. Whether you want Jui to be your mother or someone else, it's all fine. Just don't come looking for me anymore. I don't want you. Ning Yuan's expression darkened, as if shrouded in gloom. 11:11. Can I talk to you alone? I nodded. Some things are better said clearly. He handed Ning Xian over to the assistant, and we found a cafe downstairs, sitting across from each other. The coffee here is pretty good. If you have something to say, just say it directly. Ning Yuan rubbed the hem of his clothes and took a sip of coffee. 11:11. I've already made it clear to Yi. I won't let her bother us anymore, and I'll be a good husband from now on. You've seen it yourself. Yang Yang can't live without you. You used to love her so much. How can you bear to let her lose her mother? 11:11. Let's get back together. Okay. I stirred the coffee in my hand, feeling that this scene before me was somehow absurd. Before we got divorced, both the father and daughter couldn't stand me and wanted me to make way for Jui. Now that I've left as they wished, they're starting to regret it. I let out a scornful laugh. Ning Yuan, there's no way I'm getting back together with you. Ning Yuan grew anxious. Why? I can promise that Yi won't appear in front of you again. Ning Yuan, I interrupted him. Even without Jui, we can't go back to the way we were. You want to get back together with me now only because you've grown accustomed to my meticulous care over the years, the toothpaste squeezed for you in the morning, the clothes laid out, the breakfast made just to your taste. But these are things you could have a housekeeper do after just a few months of training. That's not the case. He grabbed my hand. 11:11. I love you. Chapter 14. 11:11. I fell in love with you a long time ago. I was too arrogant before and couldn't even see my own heart clearly, but now I understand. 11:11. Give me a chance to make it up to you. Okay, love me. I murmured and repeated, and Ning Yuan nodded firmly. I withdrew my hand. Maybe, but it doesn't matter anymore. Ning Yuan, you and I are already in the past. I don't regret meeting you or falling in love with you. But I will never look back. Life doesn't allow for turning back. What about Yang Yang? What will happen to her? She's still young. As long as you raise her well, she will eventually forget me, and so will you. I stood up to leave, and as we passed by each other, he tightly grabbed my wrist. I could hear his voice trembling with emotion. At least let me spend this birthday with you. Okay, I've never properly celebrated a birthday for you. I sighed and pulled my hand away. If you leave and never bother me again, that would be the best birthday gift for me. Ning Yuan, Look ahead, don't look back. Chapter 15. It was already very late when I left the cafe. I took a taxi to the restaurant, where my juniors had reserved a private room, saying they wanted to treat themselves well. When I pushed the door open, it was pitch dark inside, and I suspected I had entered the wrong room. Just about to go out to find the server, a cake cart was then wheeled out from the side. The lights suddenly turned on, fireworks burst overhead, and the sound of everyone singing Happy Birthday filled the air. I was stunned, standing there in a daze. Lu Mingyao pushed the cake cart in front of me and placed a birthday hat on my head. Sis, happy birthday. My eyes felt a bit sore and swollen, so I quickly blinked and asked him softly, how did you get here? Of course I had to come for your birthday. Sis, this kid doesn't focus on his classes, doesn't put effort into his papers, and is only fixated on coming to see you. He even dragged this old man along with him. The teacher shot Lu Mingyao a rather displeased look. Lu Mingyao stuck out his tongue at him. Don't believe him. Sis, the teacher just misses you and won't admit it. You little rascal, now you're making up stories about me. Junior A, Senior Lu is right. Senior, the teacher misses you so much, asking about you every day. Junior B. Today's surprise was actually planned by the teacher and Senior Lu together. It felt as if a flower had bloomed in my heart, and happiness washed over me like sunlight. I couldn't remember the last time I had felt so happy and content. I sniffled and sincerely thanked everyone. Thank you all, I'm really happy, truly. Amid everyone's blessings, I made my first wish of the year. We sat around together, eating cake and playing small games. Lu Mingyao quietly held my hand under the table. It turns out that happiness can be this simple.